TracksMag.com recently flew to Hawaii to catch up with one Sion Molosky. Sion, originally from Kauai, is credited with catching the biggest paddle-in wave of all time at a place called Phantoms on the North Shore. The underground charger is currently gracing the covers of no less than 3 major surfing titles around the world. Tracks is one of them.
All right, my name is Sion Molosky. I'm from Kauai, Hawaii. I'm 35 and I'm living here on the North Shore of Oahu. That day at that outer reef was, there was a lot of days that led up to that outer reef day, and there was the day before the Eddy was one day. I only surfed that spot a few times, and so there was the day before the Eddy, which got to go out there and get my feet wet out there and learn the lineup and stuff like that. And then Christmas Day was a huge day. I actually did like an 8-hour session that day, and there's only a few of us out, and really got to learn that spot, a little better direction. And so I really got to learn the spot that day. And then that day, January 11th, that day it was going off. I think the swell direction was even better. There was a good crew of guys out there, a bunch of good friends and good surfers, and just I think those other days surfing out there led me to like really pick the spot and sit in the lineup and really helped me define which waves I was going to get. And I was real fortunate, and that wave kind of came to me, and yeah, it was one of my biggest waves I ever caught in my life, and it was definitely a memorable moment for me. Unfortunately, I didn't make the whole wave. The wave came in, I just put my head down, it had the look, and I took off, and right off the get-go, there was like a step and a lump, and I kind of felt like I airdropped over that. I felt like I was going 100 miles an hour. I just wanted to hold my rail, and I held my rail as long as I could. I got to the bottom and kind of just fell forward, and I kind of lost it at that point. Got pretty pounded. It was like slow motion, anytime you get a big wipeout, it's totally slow motion, and all I was thinking about is the next wave behind, and I was just thinking about, it went by so fast, but in slow motion, it's weird, and I was underwater, and I was getting ragdolled and whatever, and when you're underwater, you can contort your body in certain ways that almost help you come up to the surface, and so I just used my body and the leash pulling me to direct myself up to the surface, because all I could think about was the next wave, and I knew I was in a pretty bad spot. And yeah, there was another wave there, and I just managed to go under that one again, and then it mellowed out, and so I was able to paddle the channel after that and got away pretty lucky. The whole thing is you wanted to stay calm and relax, and that kind of stuff. It takes a lot of experience will help you do that, and a lot of luck involved too. Anything can happen, you never know, but just being confident and staying relaxed is the main thing. Yeah, my dad, it is Polish, and it's actually from my step grandfather, so it's not actually my real given name, but my dad moved to Hawaii from Santa Cruz in the Bay Area about 40 years ago, so I was fortunate to be born and raised on Kauai, and I thank him for that. Well, I think there's probably a surfer that stands out of my mind. When I was a kid, I looked up to Tom Carroll. He's a frontside, goofy foot, and when I was growing up, I definitely looked up to him, and he was an inspiration to me. And so when I got older, I started coming over and surfing, try maybe pick some of his lines maybe, but no, he was probably the inspiration when I was young. I've been watching, all those guys down there, and Mark and Hippo and just all those guys, and Kobe and stuff. The cold water is no problem. I just went and surfed my first session at Mavs last month and had a great time up there. I'd love to get down there and sample some of those. It's just a matter of timing. And yeah, for me, I'm super fortunate. Volcom's helping me out this year, and that's a big help. But in the meantime, and I still run a welding business. I build driveway gates, and that's my main means of keeping the house over my head, and the food on the table for the family. And so Yeah, you know, Aloha's it's one of those things that, you know, you can find in a lot of, you know, not just Hawaii, everywhere you go. You know, I think it's that community of just, you know, helping someone out and just being there and, you know, just showing somebody a good time, and if somebody needs help, you know, lending out that helping hand. And, you know, Aloha, you know, goes a long way, and you can find it in a lot of places.
Good one, man. Thanks, bro.
All right, cool.
Appreciate it.
All right, that was easy.
Keep up and face it,